Ladies and gentlemen, on this YouTube channel, I cover a lot about the world of chess. People, computers, best players in the world, worst players in the world, and everything in between. But one of the things I'm most proud of when I share with you is my accomplishments in chess. And today I will be doing exactly that, as I recently crossed 3,100 on chess.com. And this put me in like the top 80, maybe, players overall on the entire planet. Recently, I crossed 3,000, and some months ago, I crossed 2,900. So I will share this accomplishment with you and show you 4 games where I defeated grandmasters with ratings of 3,020, 3,150, 3,200, and nearly 3,300. Yes, me. Little old, stupid, balding Gotham. Not a grandmaster Gotham, but with pretty cool thumbnails Gotham. 3,100. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and maybe you'll learn a couple of things, you could use for your own games. We are going to kick things off with my biggest win. I played a person who is a legend, in particular in speed chess, Alexander Bortnik. I was playing some bullet, and I randomly got paired against him. And I'm not going to lie, getting paired against him is like finding out, I don't know, like you didn't study enough for an exam or something like that. His rating was 3,300, and we played a bunch of games. And he opened up with d4, and the thing about Alexander is that you can't stop his opening. He plays the Jabava London. He always plays this. And when I know this is coming, I mean, it's not that I am afraid of the opening per se. I am afraid of the man that has practiced a kick 10,000 times. He has practiced this kick. He has also landed this kick on my face quite a bit. Now, I played a line a6. I just don't want him to put the knight on b5, period. He goes e3. I develop my bishop. I have a second to make every opening decision. So before I know it, I've given Alexander a position that a player of this opening really likes. It's taking a lot of space with the pawns, but there are some risks associated with this. It's not all fun and games. I go e6. He plays h5, just taking more space, and I stop him with h6, just so that, this pawn doesn't arrive here, and then that pushes my knight back. He very quickly just plays a3, just a general improving move. I develop my bishop. I'm looking for a trade. He goes knight h3, trying to just support the bishop as best as he can, and I take space on the queen side with the move b5. Now here, I actually have his course, and usually when black goes for this setup, it's a very good idea for white to play b4 just to permanently shut this move down. He goes bishop d3, which is reasonable. I trade, and now I play queen e7 with the idea to play c5, which is why he plays b4. And we have a very fascinating position. I have barely pushed any pawns. He has pushed every single pawn except one, and it's very hard for me to move, pieces forward, right? Because he controls a lot of the pawn play. I end up going queen d6 here, just kind of like a waiting and improving move, and I didn't want him to move his knight. The nice thing for me is he can't put a knight in the middle of the board. Like, if he could, I would be in some trouble. And I'm looking for pawn breaks of my own. Now, before I know it, Alexander is attacking me. Knight e2, and he's preparing to attack me with some of his pieces. I don't really know what to do here, so I play knight e7 because my knight's not going to do anything. So I play knight e7. I'm going to go knight c6, knight c8, knight b6, maybe knight c4. Alexander plays rook e1, and I play g6. And my logic with the move g6 was, I decided instead of repositioning the knight, I'm going to play g6. My logic was, well, I'm not castled, and he is. So g6 and h5 and just trying to break apart that side of the board should be good for me. My king could go this way, or even just like stand on d8. It's kind of a weird situation. You don't always want to leave your king in the middle of the board like this, but it might not be so bad. g6. He takes, I takes. He goes queen d2. And now I'm like, hey, what if I just didn't have either of these pawns? And I could open up that side of the board for my rook. So I went g5. So I went g5. I had a very simple idea. If he takes, I take. I open up here. If he defends me, I'm going to long castle, and I'm going to start an attack. So I went g5. He went queen e3, and I long castled. Now at this point, white is looking always to play the move a4, but he can't actually play the move a4 because then I would take on a4. The bishop would always be protecting the pawn. This wouldn't work, right? Queen e5 is possible, but not, not looking very tasty. He plays it, which means that, I mean, for white, like, we're going to trade the queens. Okay. We're going to an endgame, which I guess is a good spot to beat me. Just play rook f8, just the defensive move, making sure he can't take my knight. I want him to take me. And the nice thing is I've kept kind of close on time. 6-second deficit with 35 seconds on the clock is not the same as 10 versus 4. But Alexander, as always, he's going to look to beat me down over the course of the long game. He goes king g2 here. At this point, the computer really likes h5. I just decided to keep everything very solid with rook g8. He takes, and plays knight g3. 37 seconds, 32 seconds. This is where a 3300 outplays a 3070 rated player, even though I'm very, very strong. Like, ultimately, over the course of the game, I will go wrong at some point. I go knight c6, and then I'm like, yo, what about e5? Like, why am I just sitting back? Allow me now to have the floor to push a bunch of pawns, which he did previously. He plays bishop f5. So, the thing about the move e5 is that I gave him the f5 square. The trade-off is, of course, that I could take this pawn, but I didn't really want to because the rooks were coming in maybe. And instead of that, I just, brought my king up. I wanted to play a very, very quick move, allow him to come to me. He played rook ad1, and here I found a very cool idea. And the idea that I found was this. I do a few things with this move. Number one, I don't let his rook into the game. I don't let the pawn take. Number two, I'm undermining that pawn. e4 is a very well-timed move. Very well-timed. Now, I'm going to take, and I have a lot of tactics by putting my knight in the middle of the board. Also, I have knight e7 to target the bishop. If he takes me, he lost the defender of this pawn, and I have knight takes g4. And around here, I'm starting to think, of course, you don't have a lot of time to think. Every move we're making is in 1 second. I'm starting to think, hey, if I could get in there, I'm going to have some good opportunities here. He took on d7, and then he did this. And he blundered. He actually blundered something really nasty here. After knight e7, it looks like I'm going to win the pawn back, but he has rook e4 attacking my knight. But I don't have to move my knight. I took here. And with one move, the entire white position has disintegrated. First of all, I am threatening knight e3 check with a fork. What's amazing about the move knight e3 check is it's just a pure fork. I just win a rook for free. You could give away the rook and then lose 2 rooks. I'm also threatening here knight e3, and he can't protect his rook, so he's just going to purely lose the rook. And I'm also threatening knight here. So I'm threatening a fork a bunch of different ways. He doesn't have an easy way to defend this. He could play rook e1. That's probably the best thing that he can do. He ends up doing that. But I just give this check. And if he takes, my pawn takes, and the knight is the last remaining defender of the king. White is lost. Right here, I'm like, oh my god, I'm beating Bortnik. This is crazy. Knight takes, pawn takes. He gave me check, but my king is completely safe. My king not only is safe, he's about to go become an offensive juggernaut. He's just going to start taking pawns. I take, rook king c4, king b3, and I'm in there. His rook is not going to do any damage to me. He ends up taking this pawn. I give him check. Of course, I could have taken, but I was like, why not check him first and then take with a pawn? And my pawn is 2 squares away from queening, and that's the end of the game. I'm queening. I'm up on time. He goes here, rook f1, and he took and resigned. And not only that, after I won this game, I managed to beat him 2 more times. I actually was leading our head-to-head 3-1. Then I proceeded to lose 5 or 6 games in a row. But beating him 3 out of 4 games was certainly a very nice feeling. Because he's so strong, and it's amazing to be able to outplay somebody who's this good and this resourceful. And it makes me feel quite nice. And I managed to beat him to get to 3,100. In a legitimate way. I got to 3,100 twice, but one of the ways was ridiculous, and this one felt much more real. Now, 2 more games, 3190, 3135, and 3027. These are all very strong grandmasters, and this, of course, is Andy Woodward. I had a really weird day recently. I booted up games against Andy Woodward, and I won 4 or 3, and he won 6 or I don't know. He beat me, but I was shocked at the amount of success that I was having. And this game I was really proud of. He played a ready. I took like this, and when you trade so early, you want to put pawns on light squares. So I played g6 and c6, and I just, very, very solid on the light squares. And Andy's a very good attacking player. He's insanely fast, also very resourceful. In this game, you know, you can kind of see me using my flank pawn to put pressure on his bishop there, and I played knight e4, so now I'm taking away squares from his bishop. He went rook b1, and I put his bishop in the corner. Obviously, now it's quite passive. Knight d7, he goes knight back to d2, and I reinforce my knight. You know, I like this diagonal of pawns working against this bishop. You know, the trade of knights is going to be nice. Maybe queen a5 and knight c3, something along these lines. You know, queen b6, etc. c4. Knight back, rock solid. Everything on a light square. You know, Andy has a better position here, but I have 8 more seconds. I've just kind of been making easy moves. And it's not so simple for white to actually liberate the bishop. Like, his pawn on d4 is never going to take anything. So since he can't open up that diagonal, I'm going to maybe go knight f5. I don't know why I said it like a diagonal. I don't know. Rook d1, queen a5. He attacks me. I back up. He goes here. That was pretty stupid by me. I went queen a5 and walked directly into this. Like, I could have went queen d7 or queen e7 or queen c7. Sometimes I just like to, you know, make an active move. And now his bishop is in the game. The good thing for me is it's not actually doing anything. This is hardly a pin. I'm going to go knight f5, and if anything, he has destabilized his own center. And at this point, Andy found himself scrambling because his bishop doesn't have an easy spot to drop off. And if I get his dark squared bishop, I'm going to have the better bishop for the remainder of the game. So he went here, I attacked his bishop, and he took my pawn. And he completely missed that in this chaos, I wasn't just attacking his bishop, I was also attacking this. And this simple pawn trade, this pawn for this pawn, shows you that there are very different qualities of pawns. Because when you lose a center pawn, everything opens. When you took this pawn, you left your queen defending the bishop, whereas when I took this, I opened the floodgates. Number one, knight e2 wins a queen. Number two, the bishop can target the knight in many more positions now, and it's only defended by this pawn instead of being defended by 2 pawns. The bishop's diagonal in general will open if this knight ever moves, so knight c3 becomes more possible. In general, though, this move you can't really stop. If you play the move rook e1 here, which looks like a very easy move to play, I have multiple things. I can play takes, and I have knight f3 check. And after this, I have queen f2. And then I have this. And here, black can win in a variety of ways. I think rook takes a3. And then knight to g5, knight h3 is like completely winning. White would have to just give up all the pawns in front of the king. But he goes like this. And he's still losing here. But I didn't convert it the best way. Yeah, knight c3 is just an amazing move. Knight c3 to try to hit both rooks. Continue to threaten on the same square on e2. So I could have won a little bit more vicious fashion. Ultimately, though, I just brought my pieces back. And at this point, Andy he definitely started panicking a bit. Like right here, he spent 20 seconds, which of course you cannot spend in a bullet game. But he knew that he was going to end up in a YouTube video. And yeah, he was right. So he went here, rook takes, and ultimately he started pre-moving. And right here, I remembered thinking, what does he think I'm going to play? He probably thinks I'm going to go rook here, attacking his pawn. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go here. And you know where Andy Woodward played in 0.1 seconds here? He had pre-moved this move. Rook c1. And I took his rook. Rook c1 was the best move against rook a8. Because rook c1, it's very instructive. I say that word a lot, but it's true. You got to activate your rook on the 7th rank of your opponent. That is the way you are supposed to play chess. Rook c7. And he expected me to go there, but I went like this. And this is how I defeated the legend. Oh, and right here, he also pre-moved, which is really funny because, again, he was trying to, but it doesn't really matter. 1 extra rook, 2 extra rooks. I'm a pretty bad chess player, but I think I would have beaten Andy Woodward regardless of whether I was up 1 rook or 2. So here's another opponent that I beat. This was all around the same time, within like a week of each other. These games were played. 3,200 win, 3,300 win. So managed to get a couple of very, very nice victories, and yeah, I mean, just feel good. I mean, what can I say? I'm very proud. Okay, let's move on to the third game versus White Shark 01. Who is from... So, White Shark, I don't know who this is. I don't know if anybody has any theories who this is. I've played this person quite a bit. They are 6-2 against me. Very good player. But this is one of the games that I won. Very good game. This was actually, I think, this game might have been like one of the best bullet games in terms of quality that I've ever played. These next two were like positional masterpieces, which is not really my style. My style is to swing for the fences and try to take my opponent's head off. This player has changed their flag from, I have seen them with Kazakhstan, Tajikistan. So if it's a Central Asian, that could be a thing. They also could be from anywhere else on Earth. So in this game, I played e4. My opponent went with the Philidor, Pirc. This is a Philidor kind of with e5, or Pirc with e5. Technically, it's like maybe the Black Lion. I have a course on e4 on my website, Chessly, educational website. And I like this line, knight e2, and then h3, g4. h3, g4, knight e2 against the Pirc or against this kind of like Black Lion type of setup, Philidor setup, very effective. So c6, and now g4. And the point is that you put the knight behind the pawn, then you play the bishop here. It all supports the center and also supports a kingside attack. Now, there's a lot of lines. d5 is a very grandmaster level line. I've had a lot of GMs play this against me. I always take, and now I can just proceed with developing my bishop. And the point is that after knight takes, I just take like this, and this bishop is very good compared to this bishop. This structure is also very decent. You can always push forward when you need to. It also, blocks this bishop, and you'll castle and just get a very active game. My opponent went bishop e7, and I actually wow, every move I'm playing is the top move of the computer. Of course, I could have castled here, but instead of giving my opponent the option to take, I pushed. So now I'm pressuring here, and if you take me, I can take with any piece. Obviously, this is the most easy. And after castle, I just take the bishop. So I don't have to take the bishop. My knight is very good. The bishop's not going anywhere. But after this trade and something like this, I mean, my position is just very okay. I'm going to put the bishop here. I'm going to, I have a queenside majority, so 3-on-2 in every endgame. My bishops are going to pressure there forever. I'll bring my queen up, bring my rooks. My opponent went f6. It's kind of a mysterious move. Maybe my opponent was trying to go f5, but even f5 I could have taken. I gave a check because I wanted to free up space for my pieces here. And now bishop e3. And I mean, white just has a great game. Bishop pair. Perfect example of how to use the bishops on the long diagonals here. Black plays knight b6. And of course, I can offer a trade of queens. Queen c5 is actually the top move. Very, very, dare I say, instructive moment. Of course, with white, you think queen e4, but actually queen c5 is really annoying. Because for black, removing the queen from defending this pawn is really important, as this bishop stares here and makes it very challenging for black to develop any pieces. Then I'll play b3, a4, a5, a6 to support on this diagonal, both of the diagonals. Opponent went rook e8. I took the open file like this, bishop e6, and just b3. And b3 controls the knight and the bishop, and also I'm going to gain space with c4. So just very methodical, positional pressure. Rook c8. Now it's time to trade the queens, and just simple move. I'm gonna call this right now. Oh, I'm gonna call this right now. This is one of the best. Like overall games I have played, positional games I have played in quite some time. I think I've seen like Magnus do things like this to people. King g8. Now how do you make progress? Of course you play rook to d6 because you threaten the knight, but also you want to double up the rooks. My opponent goes king f7. I can of course take the knight. Now's the moment. So now I'm up a pawn, and I have a majority of 3-on-1 on that side of the board, which is quite easy. You cruise in, you try to win the last pawn. My opponent went rook c7. Without even thinking here, you can take the file, or you can play a4, a5, or you can bring the king. Anything is good. I took the file, my opponent went g6. I put both rooks here, and when you have overwhelming positional pressure, there's always tactics. So I'm looking at rook e6 and bishop d5 pinning the rook. My opponent doesn't have an easy way to defend this, and this doesn't even work. I can still go here. Rook d1 check my opponent played, but bishop d5. And the point is that if rook takes bishop, I don't take the rook. If rook takes bishop, I take the pawn with check. Or I can probably take the rook, but I take the pawn with check, and then I go here. And no, I guess I can't take the rook. That's what I did. Now I have 3 extra pawns, defend, and just advance. And you just cannot defend here. a5. I don't know if I could have traded the rooks. Probably. Yeah, rook b6 would have been the cleanest. But I didn't trade the rooks. I just brought my king, a7, froze the rook on the 8th rank, and I can just chop down the rest of the pieces. My opponent thinks I'm a moron, so they don't resign against me. I don't blame them. I also wouldn't resign against me. Actually, they got quite close. 3 seconds to 5 seconds. This is also very tricky. Look at this. If I take it, it's a stalemate. but rook e8 is a problem, and this is the end of the game. King takes, pawn, queen. That was a very nice game. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now. That was a very nice game. The Andy Woodward game, you know, I was a scrappy game. I was a little bit worse from the opening, and then I managed to kind of find this nice counter. This was a very nice game, and this game against Rinat Jumabayev, who may or may not have been inebriated when playing these games against me. I'm not going to lie. Some of these games I played against Rinat during our mini-match, I had a 5.5 to half lead against him. That's not supposed to happen. He is way better of a player than me. But we have played a lot. Yeah, for some reason I have a score of 10-5 against him, but like, yeah, I don't know. But I do beat him quite frequently. Maybe he's, you know, some people just play me and they get shook because they're going to end up on YouTube. And they're right. But I mean, I play a lot of games. I try to cover my wins and my losses. I really liked this game. So it was a King's Indian defense, e4, and from the opening, it became a 4 pawns attack. I really like the 4 pawns attack. I play it a lot in Blitz. I played a lot in Bullet. It's very difficult to combat. Like, you take bishop here, f5. You get a very, very easy game. Knight f3, e6. And I take... the best move is pawn takes, but if you don't know that, of course you're going to much more naturally develop your bishop. Even Sindarov did that against me. Pawn takes is the best move according to the computer, but it's hard to play because it's very congested. Most people go bishop here. Bishop d3. Remember, Sindarov played bishop g4 against me, one of the only people on planet Earth that has ever just played that move, because if you don't, I go f5. That's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people develop this move, but after f5, this is very annoying. I get another piece entering the attack, you have to just go back. You have, and of course, if you take, you lose the defender of the king. Now, Jumabayev played bishop c8, which is not a good move. It's better to go bishop d7. I castled. And now almost every grandmaster on earth plays knight g4 against me here because you want to win control over some dark squares. But there's a lot of moves for white. In general, knight g4, I like to play knight d5. Like, if you gave me access, I'm going to take the access. And then you have bishop g5, and often I will shuffle my queen to a dark square to join the attack. Right, so bishop attack like this, my knight will go over here. My king always goes to h1, so I'm out of the way of any diagonal attacks like on the d4 square, knight e5. And actually here I was completely winning. So I played king h1 just because I always play king h1. But actually knight takes e5, I could have just gone here, and he has to take with a knight, which is very important, because if he can take with the bishop, this doesn't work. But if he takes with a knight, he loses a defender of f6. And f6, black resigns. I've won a few games like this, but here I didn't pay attention. Yeah, the bishop doesn't have a move because knight e7, and the king has to force the queen to sacrifice herself for his survival, which sucks, right? And so knight takes e5, it looks very counterintuitive, but it's the winning move. But I mentally pre-move this. And also most people do not play that knight to e5, they play like this. And this is a different story because if knight takes, there's bishop takes. And this position I have played many times. So you just didn't expect the wrong knight there. But anyway, king h1, he took my bishop, which is not really a piece I cared much about. Like, my knight is much more useful for the attack. He went knight e5, and now I'm like, okay, his bishop is completely out of the game. Do we try to go checkmate him? Like, bishop, queen there, and knight there, and rook there. Like, how are we winning this position, right? Queen h3 is the move that I played. Not the best move. I could have immediately went to trade his dark square bishop to try to just completely remove defenders here. He went f6, and then I was like, okay, let's go queen h6. Let's attack this pawn. And he went here, and I was like, I guess I'm not going to checkmate him, so let's target the pawn. Important to target a pawn where your opponent has castled, and if they've pushed it. If they push pawns where they've castled, you want to attack their pawns. Those are called hooks. He goes g4, and immediately I'm like, I see the key to the position. I have to get rid of the bishop. It's a very annoying piece. So we get rid of the bishop. Either he has to take like this and allow f6. If he allows f6, he will just lose. I will dominate positionally here. And if he does this, now we have a new infiltration spot, which is the d file. So immediately we go rook d1, queen f8. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, the international master in me, who is me, that's me, wants to back up and save the queen for a checkmate. Like, I don't want to trade the queens. But the grandmaster in me is like, yo, if I go here, I'm down like 10 seconds, which is a lot of time. But his position sucks. So I went knight back attacking his pawn. And then I just went in with my rook. And then I went back in with my knight. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, what is he gonna do? I'm gonna walk my king here and just mow down his queenside. He doesn't have any way to defend himself. If he ever takes, I double up my rooks. You're not ever gonna fight back against 2 rooks. So king g1, king f2. He's still up a lot on time here, but his position's about to fall apart. I go rook e6, rook d6. And I'm just like, I'm gonna come back with my knight. At some point, he's gonna have to take me. And when he takes me, now I have a pawn that can advance. So rook e7, I play knight d5, and I'm attacking his rook. If he takes me, I'm gonna bring my pawn. All I need is a pawn. If I get a pawn to clear and run down that side of the board, I'm gonna win, and this is just lost. Like if he plays rook f8 here, rook d7 check, it's all lost. So he goes here. Honestly, the top move of the computer is to just take the bishop and then run with the pawns. I took his rook, because now this is very easy. This is a very easy game to pre-move as well. Like, if you want to win a game with low time, you got to think, like, how's my opponent going to do anything? Well, he has some pawn breaks, but if I keep everything on a dark square, his bishop can't even do anything. So if I put everything on a dark square, he can pre-move all he wants. He's not going to catch me with any tricks. I take on a7. I win his other pawn. He can't cross. My king is just blocking a4. Now I'm like, oh, now this is easy. a4, a5. All I have to be careful about is some pre-move like this. But I'm fast enough with my reflexes that that's not going to happen. And he resigned. And that was another very nice, methodical, positional game. I played some good games. Really. Some of these games, they were defensive. You know, I was fighting back on the structure. Some of them were very counterplay oriented. Like this one against Alexander, this e4 move. In the chaos of all of this position to catch this little x-ray defense, you know, my bishop defending my knight through the bishop, I was very happy with. I'm very pleased with these games, I have to tell you. I know it's bullet, it doesn't matter, like 1 minute chess doesn't matter, but who can say they've ever crossed 3100 at bullet? And also makes chess like really accessible to millions of people around the world. And is also really handsome. And is really humble. I don't know, but maybe it's me, and I'm saying it right now. Have at it. Keep at it with your goals. You know what I mean? I'm 30 years of age, which in chess, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur with limbs that can hardly move. But I'm still kicking or flying or whatever dinosaurs do. Some people don't even believe in dinosaurs. Anyway, on that tangent, we will conclude today's video. And I'm sitting around surrounded by some of my books. So if you want one of my books, you know what I'm saying? How to Win at Chess Next Level, available for pre-order. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.